Guys, my name is Michael and welcome to a new GTK tutorial. It is time to learn a new widget, and the widget I am talking about today is called GTKStackSwitcher. If you remember from the last video, I already show you an example. I will show you again, and the example looks like this. This is the thing which you create when you create a stack switcher. It is basically an application where you have, let's say, if you can call it like a menu, you see, and of course you have some containers which they are going to be revealed once that you click on some of those tabs, like I'm doing right now. You see webcam and I can click it, headset, headphone, computer, entry where you can type something, and of course if you want to swap from computer to phone, I did something like this. Now when I'm going to click the computer button, it will swap and go directly to the phone. So basically this is what we are going to create in this and the next videos which are coming. Okay, so that being said, let me see what we have here. We have a controller for the stack, which is very important. We had a stack but we have no controller. Now it's different. And the definition says the GTKStackSwitcher widget acts as a controller for a GTK stack. So if you don't know what a GTK stack is, this means you didn't check my last video. You should go to my last playlist, which it is called GTK Stack, and check about it, and then come back to check the GTKStackSwitcher. It shows a row of buttons to switch between the various pages of the associated stack widget. So all the content of the buttons comes from the child properties of the GTK stack. The button visibility of the GTK switcher is controlled by the visibility of the child in the GTK stack. We will see about the story. And of course, CSS node, do we have something? Yes, we have a stack switcher, and of course we have a dot stack minus switcher class as well. Okay, that being said, we have only 3 functions. So basically, if you come directly to this widget, you will never understand it, because you know only how it works if you understand the GTK stack. And because I already did a playlist about it, we can now finally work with GTKStackSwitcher. Okay, so that being said, we need to call GTKStackSwitcher new, which of course says creates a new stack switcher. Okay, so let us declare it GTK widget stack switcher, and now let us say create a stack switcher. Now we can say stack switcher. We can point it to the function, which it is stack switcher new, takes nothing. And now because we have it, we can add it. GTK container add, but instead I'm going to use GTK grid. GTK grid attach, GTK grid, and of course we need a child, which will be of course our stack switcher, and then I'm going to say 0 for left, 0 for top, 1 for width, and 1 for height. Now because we did what we need to do, we can now check it. Let's see what happens. And of course we have nothing. Let me change the name of the window. Stack switcher GTK stack switcher. Okay, now it's not, why it's not working? Because we need to put some information inside it, and for this we have the second function, the next one. We have only 3. GTKStackSwitcher set stack, which means we need to set a stack, and by doing this means basically we need to have a GTK stack as well. Because we already know what it is, we were going to create it. So let us create a GTK stack, GTK widget. I'm going to call it, of course, stack. And now because we have it, we are going to create it right here. I'm going to copy all these things just for some modification. So stack, and of course here we need only the stack new, and here we need a stack, and the stack, it will be now I'm going to use it on the position of the left position 0 and top 1, just to be one under. Let me compile and run and see what happens. Okay, we have the same name, stack, which is wrong. And now let us check what's the story with the stack and stack switcher. As you can see, we still have nothing. Of course we have nothing because we didn't create something to have with. For this, let us go back to our GTK stack widget. So GTK stack, it is very important for us because they are those functions which we are need to work with. And of course let us check the GTK stack add name for beginning, and because of this function, of course, we need to create some information. So I'm going to come and I'm going to say for the function GTK stack, you should already be familiar with what I'm doing here, stack. I'm going to say button 1, and of course the phone, because we already used with those. Now if I compile it and run it the way it is, it says button 1 is undeclared, you see, because we need to create it. So GTK widget button 1, and we are going to point it to GTK button new from icon name, the way how we were used. And of course I'm going to say phone, which will be the button, and of course the next thing which we need, it is the size, which is a GTK icon size menu, icon size menu. And now because we have the button and then we add a name, let's see what happens. Here is the button, which looks like something's working. Let us create a second button, 2, and I'm going to say camera web. I really want to be sure that you understand what I'm doing here, guys, so please check it just to be sure that you understand. Button 2, which is also the camera web, and now watch what happens. Whoa, we have nothing. So what's wrong here? I mean, we did create 2 buttons, we add those names, we have a switcher, and still is not working. Why? Well, one of the reasons are because we didn't call the, let me go back, we didn't call the GtkStackSwitcher set stack, so we didn't set the stack. So let us check this one right now, and says we need a GtkStackSwitcher and GtkStack. Okay, so GtkStackSwitcher, which is our stack switcher, and of course the GTK stack. Now let us check again. What do we have here? We call the GtkStackSwitcher set stack to set a stack inside the switcher, or better say, like the function says, set the stack to control. Once that we did that, we were creating 2 buttons and we were adding those names for those buttons. Now let me compile it and run and see what happens. Still nothing. You see, made no changes. Why? I mean, we create those buttons, and of course we put some control for the GtkStackSwitcher. So where exactly is the problem? Well, the problem is, guys, do you remember when we were working with the GTK stack and I showed you everything about these functions, at least I explained it to you, even if we didn't really took example for GTK stack set horizontal homogeneous, for example. I only explained it to you by using in the homogeneous function right here, but we did talk all we need to talk about this function but one. You remember I said GTK stack add title, this one right here. This function, I told you that we don't need it. This function is a function which we are going to use later, and now it is time to talk about that later. Now it's time to talk about GTK stack add title, and this is the function which you actually need instead of GTK add name. GTK add name, it is only for your stack, if you create a stack. But if you need a stack with a stack switcher, or better say, if you need to work with stack switcher, then GTK stack add name is gone. You don't need it. Instead, you need the GTK stack add title. What this function does, you will see in a second. Adds a child to the stack, which is true, which is the same thing what this function does. Where you see it's a stack, it's a child name, and it is the name. As you can see, all these 3, you have them in here, and the add name function. Okay, and we have a 4th parameter. The title will be used by GtkStackSwitcher, you see, to represent child in a tab, but so it should be short. So basically a human readable title for child. This is what we need. So let me copy this one. I'm going to replace this one and this one with the GTK stack add title instead. And now, because we have it, we can give it, of course, a title. So the title will be, of course, phone, just to be sure that we know where the difference. And of course, here I'm going to say webcam instead of camera web, so that it will be different. Now watch, we have the same program. We did no changes, nothing. Only we replaced the GTK stack add name with GTK stack add title. Watch what happens now when I compile and run the program. Bingo! Now looks fine, isn't it? Now we have a phone, now we have a webcam, and watch, when I click the webcam, we have the webcam, isn't it? So now works fine. This is the way how you create your stack, and of course now, because we have it, we can create the other buttons as well. 3, 4, 5. And of course, instead of camera web, we are using audio headset, audio headphones, and of course the last one, the computer. Now, because we have them, let us clean a little bit of code right now so that it looks a little bit cleaner. Okay, and now of course we can create those titles, those 5 titles: button 1, button 2, button 3, button 4, and button 5. Now we can say audio headsets right here, audio headphone, and the last one, it will be our computer. Now phone, we have it, webcam, we have it. The next thing which we need it is now the head set headphone, and of course the last one will be the PC. I'm going to give it another name. Now when I'm going to compile it and run it, you will see that beautiful 5 tabs window, you see. And now basically we have, of course, the PC has some problems, and this is because yes, here I forgot a letter T. Now just a short brief that you understand. Let me see that PC works. Yes, that you understand the tabs right here, which you have them, are those which you are working you are putting there with a stack title, I mean a title. This function right here, it is a function which basically adds a new tab to your stack switcher, and the buttons which you create them right here down here are those buttons which you basically connect them to your stack switcher, which are those one right here. This is very important for you to manage, to understand this difference. That being said, it's enough for today. Thank you guys for watching. If you like it, please subscribe, share with your friends and neighbors, and until next time, see you guys.